Hello, and welcome to Popcorn News. Something to watch while you eat popcorn. Have you ever noticed how the news gives an awful lot of coverage to the current presidential campaign? I sure have. And with so much news coverage going to the presidential campaign, that means other news gets pushed aside. Instead of the regular news we usually get this year for this election cycle, we get bombarded with reports about Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump, and Ted Cruz. And people are getting awfully sick of hearing about these people. Never mind, we won't be getting much real news until after the election. So, what can we roadmap for the week ahead? The blab and the turmoil in the so-called news will be all about the New York State primary on Tuesday, April 19th. In contrast, I have tried to find reports on just about anything, so long as it avoids the politicians. And so I have found that from Anonymous, how the underground world continues its operations.
Underground across America, and all over the world there lay many underground bases. Among the most infamous include Area 51, and Dulce Base. What most people want to know is what goes on underground at these bases. Many witnesses have come forward with testimonies of what goes on in these underground cities. Thomas Costello was a former Dulce security officer, who came forward about what he witnessed. A quick Google or YouTube search of his name or the phrase, Dulce security officer speaks out, will lead you to some questions and answers between him and an interviewer. Costello had gone on the run, when he had learned his wife and children had been kidnapped. Costello has since vanished. Nobody is even sure if he is still alive today.
What else is the so-called news not covering, and instead blanketing the nation with reports about presidential candidates? We find, thanks to reports from the Russia Today network, that there have been Democracy Spring protests in Washington, D.C.
We just need to go. We do not endorse this resistance. We don't endorse the resisting arrest. I know, and today they're not they're
I had been initially suspicious that Democracy Spring might be an astroturf movement. However, because the news in the United States has been ignoring the recent several days of their protests in Washington, that might mean they are authentic. So, the roadmap for the week ahead is endless reports about the New York State primary and keen analysis of what it all means. How can you keep your sanity in the midst of all this? Find something true and hang on to it. Thank you for watching Popcorn News.